Hey, Screaming Geek Media here. I am Jerry the Geek. Today we got another review. We're going to talk about Schlock on Blu-ray. But before we get into that, if you like physical media, 4Ks, Blu-rays, DVDs, check out my other videos on my channel because I do reviews, unboxings, collection updates, discussions. Check that stuff out, see what you like. Hit the like button, subscribe, turn your bell notifications on. So let's talk about Schlock on Blu-ray. This is a movie that I grew up with. It's such a great, it's just one of those campy comedies. Came out in 1973, but it was filmed in 71, but I don't know the details of why it took them 2 years to get distributed or actually get it released. There's no, what do you call it, there's no really actors in. I think there's one lady, I can't remember her name, but she's not a big name, but she's done some stuff. But, this was directed by John Landis. It was his first movie he ever directed. I think he was, I want to say 21 at the time. Of course, after this, he, went, did a Kentucky Fried Movie. And then he went on to do Animal House, Blues Brothers, American Werewolf in London. So he's really made a name for himself. And there's a lot of times, sometimes these big stars, stars, directors and whatnot. Look at how they first start. A lot of times they want to take the first thing they ever did and kind of, sweep it under a rug and doesn't exist. But this one from the get-go kind of created a cult following, and it's definitely one of those movies. Of course, being born in 70, I never saw this until the 80s when we got, VHS at home. But yeah, I watched this movie a lot, with our brothers and family. I had this on a DVD for the longest time, and I haven't watched this in years, so I completely forgot about a lot of the movie. And I like I said, I forgot about how hilarious this is. I was in tears watching this yesterday, and a couple of scenes I just damn near pissed myself because it's so damn over the top. But basically, this follows, opens up with a big massacre scene. You see all these bodies laying around, and they start talking about the banana killer, and basically ends up being the missing link, between ape and man. And of course, John Landis himself actually is in the suit, and he plays Schlock. And, being a character that cannot talk, just the mannerisms, the what he pulled off. Considering, like I said, you're talking about a movie that came out and, filmed in 71. And it's just priceless. The performance that he gives in that suit is just freaking hilarious. And also, Rick Baker, when it comes to, he's like the god of makeup effects. This is, one of the first movies he's ever done. And this is the first gorilla suit he's ever done. You watch it now, it's like, cheesy as hell, but, you have to start somewhere. Look what he's done, to this day, done, Planet of the Apes and Grinch and King Kong. And so, yeah, he's a maestro when it comes to the makeup effects. And he actually does a little cameo in the movie when they get to the dance, when they go to the dance, and he's actually the guy on crutches, that is Rick Baker. So it's cool to see, two major Hollywood influences like John Landis and Rick Baker, see how they got their start. Looking at the trivia stuff, Rick Baker was living in his with his parents, and he was doing doing this stuff, making the suits and stuff in his bedroom. The foam rubber, the molds were actually baked in his mom's oven. So yeah, it's pretty cool to see how these guys got their starts. Now, this Blu-ray release comes from Arrow. It came out in 2018, so it's not fairly old. Movie was filmed in 35 millimeter. This actually does have a 4K restoration done, and not by Arrow. The restoration was actually done by Turbine, which does phenomenal work. So that explains why this looks so freaking good for even just a Blu-ray. Some great details and depth, textures, really nice solid color saturation. One scene where these kids, are down in this cave exploring. His the yellow shirt and the red jacket. So even though it's just lightly lit, that really kind of stands out. And it definitely has a heavy grain structure throughout, but like I said, it's 1971. It is incredible how this freaking looks now. Yeah, how I couldn't find my DVD, so I don't know if I got rid of it a while back thinking I was going to replace it, or I just misplayed. I got some missing movies somewhere, and that's one of them that's missing. So yeah, this is definitely a big upgrade over DVD. Now, as for the audio, they give us the original lossless audio track, LPCM mono, but it's a really good, solid track overall. There's no complaints here. Like I said, being in the 70s movie, you're not going to be wowed by it. It's not going to be demo quality, but it is nice and crisp and clean. Even some little subtle sounds at the beginning where shots with the merry-go-round, and as that pans off away from the merry-go-round, you can still hear the squeaking of the merry-go-round turning. So that was kind of pretty good. Nice little subtle sounds. So for being an old mono track, this is pretty impressive. Now for the packaging here, you can see they actually got a clear case on it. And we have, I'll pop out, you can see the really nice artwork on the disc there. And it actually has reversible cover art because you got the original cover there, and you flip it over. It has some new artwork that was commissioned for it. And typical Arrow fashion, it just has this little card advertising some of their stuff, and a whole bunch of the movies on the back. Then also comes with a little booklet here. It has some info. Actually it has a forward by Joe Bob Briggs, has a little information about the, history, and then it has restoration credits, which talks about Turbine, doing a 4K of it, and it has some nice pictures from the movie as well. Some pretty cool booklet here to see. Now for the bonus features, we actually have a couple new interviews that were done for this release. One of those interviews is with the author and critic Kim Newman. And then we have a new interview with John Landis from 2017 called The Birth of a Schlock. It's just like about 41 minutes. I watched some of it. Some really good info, but just the format of the interviews, it kind of got boring. It was a little really dry, but there's some really good information, some stories from John Landis. Then we got an archival interview with cinematographer Bob Collins. Then we have some theatrical trailers, U.S. radio spots. And also we got an audio commentary by writer-director John Landis and makeup artist Rick Baker. And I think that is the same audio commentary was back on the DVD. And I'm not a big fan of audio commentaries. I rarely watch them because once I see a movie, I don't want to sit through it again listening to a commentary. But old movies like this is kind of where you want to listen to some of that stuff. You hear some really good stuff. And if this is the same one that was on a DVD, it's pretty entertaining. Some really cool stuff, and I highly recommend checking that out. So to wrap it up, this is an awesome release from Arrow. If you've not seen this movie, get it. If you like these campy comedy parody movies, the parody of those old monster movies, I recommend getting this because this is freaking hilarious. I'm so glad I finally added this, Blu-ray to the collection because, like I said, I grew up with this, and I have a high-quality restoration. It's freaking crazy. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't got this on physical media, or if you don't have the Blu-ray, get this. It's selling for $20 right now. Turbine has their own version of it. Of course, with their shipping costs, it's probably going to cost you a little bit more. It's got different artwork on it. As far as waiting for 4K, since knowing that Turbine, this is a 4K restoration, so there's always a chance that this will get released on a 4K. But after watching this on just Blu-ray, I'm content. I don't see a need to upgrade this on a 4K because this looks so damn good. My only reason to want to get this if they release it again is if they add some more bonus features, which it's always possible they might look back. But if you're someone that's holding out, I would recommend pulling the trigger, getting this now. Like I said, it's that damn good. It feels like you're watching the 4K itself. It is just freaking amazing. So that pretty much does it for my look at the Blu-ray of Schlock. You know, the original movie from John Landis and Rick Baker. Please comment below. Let me know what you think. Check out my other videos on my channel. Like, subscribe, turn your bell notifications on. And we'll see you soon. Geek out.